I wrote this for my friends that think too much, and maybe you're one of them. Maybe I'm one of them. Above the city, 2 trees stand, weather-worn and scarred with centuries of salt winds, twisted backwards by the torment of the coast, stretching out their arms across the swirling estuary, the rock face dropping down into the river, running always out to meet the sea. You know the trees I mean. Work with me here. You know the trees I mean. Yeah, I thought you did. On summer days, we climb to them in sunburnt beer-buzzed 2s and 3s, up one cliff path or the other. They shelter lovers lingering in the grasses at their feet, witness sunlit promises and shady truths. And if you lie beneath them long enough, the whispering leaves re-speak a story of their own. Before the dog walkers and the city wanderers, before the Roundheads and the King's men, before the missionaries and the monasteries, before the Vikings, Saxons, Romans, Celts, there were the rugged, unnamed tribes. Now, since the making of the first man and woman, there was no time for love. Meeting was a moment for exchange. Love was not known. So, the attention people put into their work has since been unmatched. Each one harnessed to their task. When the hunt went deep into the forest, spears sliced straight through life and death before the deer had even noticed. And a weaver wove such care into her woolen cloth, wrapping it around you in the frost you'd feel her heart beat at your back. Songmakers and storytellers practiced phrase and chorus night and day, though all the tales told of solitary heroes and the hollow heart, for there was no love. So, who knows how they met? These two. This man and woman. An introduction from a friend. By elders' arrangement. The world's first blind date. A hushed moment in a clearing when the light licks each leaf a golden yellow under panting black storm clouds. But when they met, they looked. And when they looked, they knew that things were not as they should be. They didn't go home with the sunset. Hand in hand, they climbed high up on that headland to look out. Now, this would be the perfect moment for the usual rough exchange, a hunk of meat and a few shells for a pan to press a pleasure. But when they stopped, they saw. And when they saw, they stepped. He pushed the hair behind her ear. She felt his breath against her skin and raised her eyes, and they greeted lip to lip. The first kiss caused the wind to gasp, pull back the clouds against itself as if it might be sucked down from the skies. The first kiss shook the land beneath their feet. The people looked up for the flash that came with thunder and knew that things were not as they should be. And they kissed on, and the earth quaked, rivers bursting to the surface. And they kissed on, and the clay cracked. Day was gone, and time unclenched its jaw and opened with them. They kissed, and that night in the land, when the people gathered, as they always do, for food and company, they too stood open-mouthed and watched in awe as stories unwound themselves from the tongues of storytellers who, dumbstruck, saw their crafted words burn up and vanish in the wood smoke rising to the stars as images long etched into the monoliths smoothed themselves with palm-worn sighs across the stone as paint drank itself back deep into the blood-red rock as bard songs of much lost hope and wounded pride unsung themselves until all that remained was the start, note by note, returning to the pent-up place that gave it birth. They kissed, and fire swallowed itself back into the sticks, the trees, the forest stirred and bristled. There was nothing but each other in the darkness.